Good evening and welcome to the 36th meeting of the Jacksonville Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee. At this time, I'd like to welcome everybody here. Thank y'all for joining us. And our presenters who are going to be with us tonight as well, thank y'all for coming. At this time, do we have an adoption of the agenda? It was sent out, so hopefully, oh, sorry, let me back up for a second. Let's do the PIN presentation before we go over the adoption of the agenda. And tonight, we have Ms. Ossie Keys and Sunshine Williams will be receiving pins. So at this time.
Councilmember Washington.
Good evening to everyone who is in attendance, either here physically or on G10 tonight. On behalf of the mayor and the city council, I would like to present 2 pins tonight to Mrs. Ossie Keys and to Ms. Louise Sunshine Williams for their participations and new appointments to the Environmental and Appearance Advisory Group. So on behalf of Mayor Phillips and the Jacksonville City Council, thank you for your dedication to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much for all that you do for the committee. All right, at this time, let's, if you've had, hopefully everyone's had a chance to look over the agenda. Is there anybody who needs a second to look over it, or we're good to go? So do we have a motion to adopt?
I make a motion to adopt.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The motion will be approved. The minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes of the June 1st meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, do we have a motion to adopt?
I make a motion to adopt.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. The minutes will be accepted as written. And now we're down. Time for our presentation. First will be Mr. Alan Baker. He's the facilities manager with the city of Jacksonville.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
I'm just going to go over a little bit of our energy conservation program and some of the things that we're doing within the city to try to help everybody save some money. If you would, next slide there, Alan. Thank you. What we want to do is reduce energy consumption throughout the city. Educate others within the city and outside the city to try to reduce their electric all they can and any kind of fuel that they may have, and to operate our facilities in a clean and green manner. We have approximately 135 city facilities consisting of City Hall, the Center for Public Safety, fire and police stations, rec centers, water and wastewater facilities. There's 3 buildings at the Public Services Compound, housed all the sanitation, the maintenance and fleet, and some of the utility services. And we have a ton of various storage buildings that surround those areas. The next slide, please. So some of the things here, just a little bit of education. A lot of your street lighting, flood lighting is normally the high intensity discharge lighting, which is HID. Average lifespan of those is about 20,000 hours. They do reduce their efficiency over time, and they do have a high operating cost as far as replacing. Next slide, please. Then you have the compact fluorescent lights, which are better. They have the average lifespan of 10,000 hours, have a real low operating cost. They also use less watts per lumens. Next slide, please. There you go. Then you have the top of the line, the LED light emitting diodes. These have an average lifespan of 50,000 hours. They're real low cost to operate as far as repair because they do last so long. They have the best lumen output per watt. So you get a whole lot more light with less watts. Next, please. We have had some street lighting upgrades that we're working with Duke Energy and Jones Onslow. We've had, Duke Energy has been working on this a couple of years now, and they're almost complete at 99%. Have a few, I think, out around Western Boulevard, they have some areas. And Jones Onslow has pretty much started this past year, about 75% complete on those. And we've been changing out the sodium vapor lights, high pressure sodium vapor lights. And the LED street light, they provide more lighting, they have no UV light, and they use less energy and reduces the maintenance. And our traffic division with the city of Jacksonville, they are over the street lighting now. So they go out and they will do audits every so often just to make sure that we have lights that are not out and we're getting paid for. And they get on that pretty quick to get those repaired. Some of the other things we're doing is natural gas. You know, we've got a lot of natural gas in the city now. If there's natural gas available, we will change over our appliances to natural gas and the building itself to help us save some money. And all of our new construction, if it's available, we'll put natural gas in it. Then you have the water leaks. That's also considered some energy consumption. Leaking appliances, they waste a lot of water. Also increase your utility bills. Save money and water with low flow fixtures and appliances if you can. If you replace some of your old appliances or toilets or anything, try to get the low flow models. Use less water. And the city also provides free low consumption kits. You can purchase, or they're free. You can go to the water department here at the city of Jacksonville and pick them up, and they can give you what you need. City splash pad, we did design that, so it's got a 22,000 gallon storage tank where water goes in the drain portion of the splash pad. It goes in this tank and it's recycled. It's got the chlorine and everything's mixed in with it as it goes through this cycling process, which also helps us save money on water. Some of the things we've been doing within our facilities, this is some of the lighting equipment, the occupancy sensors, and you got the wall switches and then the ones you put up in the ceiling where when you come in a room, they automatically come on. And if you just happen to leave the light off, they'll automatically go off in a certain amount of time. So that's helping us save some energy. A lot of our new facilities we've installed these LED lights in the parking lot areas. And the Jacksonville Landing, that's one of the last ones we did that installed these LED lights. And we've been doing some more lighting retrofits in the facilities. These right here are it's called a T12 fluorescent lamp, which is the older style lamp. We've changed all these out with the T8, which is the more energy efficient models. We've done that to several facilities now. We still have a long ways to go, but we're getting there. This is some more stuff. The little wall pack. We changed that from one of the HID lights to a CFL. And the little shelter over here, it had high bay lights, which is another HID light. And we changed it with the high bay T8s. And as we go along, as our air conditioning units grow older and older, they are less energy efficient. So we're changing this out with the new energy efficient models. And they use a whole lot less energy than the older models do. We also have the energy management plan where we go on there and it's a computer-based program that we can control our units with. We can go in and set run times. We can cut them off at night or cut them down and change things, whatever we need to. Just a phone call away, they can change it most any time we need to. So that's about all I have for this. Does anybody have any questions?
Do you feel like the capital outflow with your cash money has been like on changing all the lights is worth it? The cost versus your savings?
I do. As far as Duke Energy, they changed out every light that was under 20 years old. They changed it out for free. So that was a savings right there in it by itself. We decided to go ahead and go ahead with all of it and change them out. I think it was like a $50 charge per light. That was anything younger than that. So, and then they did give us a decrease in our electric bill by going to LED. So yes, it's gonna save some money in the long run.
Alan, you said that the streetlight division goes out and checks for the lights,
Yeah, the traffic division,
the traffic division?
yep, they go out and they will go out, I think it's once or twice a month. They go out, ride around and check the street lights.
So they
make
go in
sure-
the evening?
Yeah, at night.
Okay.
They will go around at night, check all the lights that are not working. And when we first started this program, there was a lot of them with the older style lights that were not working, we were getting charged for. Now that they've changed most of these out to LED, we're not having that problem as much now. I mean, every once in a while you'll get an LED light that's not working exactly right, but it's not often. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Alan, you're welcome to stay, or if you want to go
I'll
on,
hang
you
out.
can.
I just wanted to add real quick about the lights and to give you an example of where we do see cost savings is we made a change 2 years ago on the city Christmas tree and some of the banner, Christmas decorations that you see to LED lights. And it did cost some money to do that. But as an example, we were spending $7,000 to $8,000 a year to put these decorations up for electric bills. We've not went over $2,500 either the last 2 years. So there is savings there, especially over the long term.
All right, now Jason is gonna update us on some urban forestry management.
Thank you for having me. As you remember, last time I was here, we had talked about mulch installation and some educational things towards this. Today, we're going to talk about planting trees, choosing the right site, making sure that the tree fits the area that you're looking for, making sure nothing's too big in a small area, making sure that the pH is a good pH for soil. Typically, good soil is a neutral soil. On the pH level, that's somewhere around 6.5 to 7. In that general area is perfect case scenarios. There are tree types that take higher pH soils. There's some that take lower pH soils. Make sure that you do a soil test before you're planting trees, please. There's a free thing that NC State does. Certain times of the year it's free. Sometimes you have to pay for soil testing, depending on what time of the year you're looking at planting. But make sure you do that ahead of time, okay? When you're digging a hole for the tree, make sure it's 2 to 3 times the size of the root ball. There's a lot of people make the mistake of planting trees too low or too high, which contribute to a lot of problems. I typically say make sure we plant high because eventually some soil is going to settle. If you're digging a hole 2 to 3 times larger than the actual tree, the tree root ball, it's going to settle over time, whether it's rain compacting, whether it's personal compacting yourself. So make sure you're above ground. You can always dig it up. It's hard to pull it back up once it's too low, but you could always go down if you need to. There are 2 types of trees I'm going to talk about today, and then typically what we use here in the city are ball and burlap trees and container trees. The biggest difference in those is ball and burlap trees are purchased most of the time for larger size specimen trees. Anything from 3, 4, 5, 6 inch big caliper tree. I usually typically buy ball and burlap. With the ball and burlaps, we have to make sure when we're planting those trees that you pull pins out of it. It's wrapped in burlap. It has a fence around it, a cage, and you want to make sure you want to pull that cage down into the hole It's okay to leave it. Some people cut it off, but you can leave it. It's going to rust away over a period of time. But make sure you get it down below where the crown of the tree is, because you want that root. That's the key root to get soil contact. The container trees are typically your smaller trees, more of your Japanese maples, some of your ornamental trees. You're going to find in container size because they're smaller specimen trees. The key with those are making sure when you take them out of the container is loosen the outside roots of that, because you want good soil contact with those, okay? On these trees, here's a big mistake that a lot of people make. When you backfill around these trees, once they're in the hole, go about halfway and fill it up with water. A lot of people just want to throw dirt on it and pack it with your foot and you're done. But that is not the right way to do it. What you want to do is go about halfway, actually water it in, because that soil is going to go reach down into the roots, and then backfill the rest of the way and water it again. Don't compact it. Make sure you're not stomping it. You're going to see it. We all done it. But right now, this is all based off what soil you have. And a lot of times we're running into like the commons areas where we have a lot of clay-based soils. And we have found out that it sticks. And it sticks to your shoes. It sticks. It doesn't pack really well. It's hard to get it compact in there. And so the natural thing to do is just let it compact themselves. Sand is going to pour through. The water is going to pour through sand because it's much larger granulars. So make sure that we compact the soil very minimal. Let water and nature take care of its own. All right. And here's a key where we talked about mulch before. Make sure when we are setting up water berms, I want to call it water berms, not volcanoes, but water berms, that we do it with mulch, not soil. A lot of times I've seen where people are just doing dirt and you're adding dirt on top of the roots. We're planting a tree already above ground, but you're adding more dirt on top of it. So in reality, it's actually below ground over a period of a few years. So if you'll use mulch to entrap that water, and you're using that water to be entrapped just for that season, just to get it established. Once you get the water established, or once you get the tree established, you shouldn't have to water. You know, and I think a lot of people make mistakes when you plant trees. Pick the right time of the year to plant trees. I can tell you, we try to push back from planting this time of the year. We've pushed back for the last 2 months, actually, on planting unless I had to. It's so time consuming with trying to water, trying to keep up with what we're doing. But make sure the ideal times for trees specifically, spring and fall. You can plant in the wintertime. I'm not telling you can't, but just be careful around frost. If you've got ball and burlap trees, obviously frost can be a problem. But does anybody have any questions?
Well, I made all the mistake that you just
She just talked about. Well, and this is actually, if y'all remember, this was actually where we, at Jackie Miette, where we put in for Arbor Day 2 years ago, I think it was. And
April 26th.
yep. And you can see what it looks like today. They've grown. You know, I'm not saying it's been great out there, because it's like any urban environment. There are soils out there that's not great. But with a little bit of TLC, you know, we can go a long ways with them. And so, you know, this is just one of the areas that we've done that y'all are, you know, aware of and what you can see. And I think we did this one in April, so it was the ideal time for us to be putting them in. So we didn't have to water near as much. You know, the key for me on trees, the first couple of weeks, is you give them plenty of water. And once they get established in those couple of weeks, most of the time, once every couple of days, you're okay. But as it gets hotter, you got to look. If you start seeing leaves start to droop a little bit, definitely give it some water, because it gets to a point, it'll start turning yellow, and there's no turning back at that point. Any questions?
Why
Trees
do
look good.
leaves fall off on the tree when it's not, and during the winter?
Ma'am?
You see brown leaves during the winter, or near the winter,
They're going
when it
dormant.
should be green, but they're brown.
Now, it depends. Is it a deciduous tree or an evergreen tree? Like deciduous trees, the leaves will fall off.
it's a tree that stays green all the time.
all the time. It could be winter burn. In the wintertime, you can get some winter burns, especially on new growth that's happened over the summer onto maybe an evergreen, a holly of some sorts. It gets shoots on it for over that summertime, and maybe you haven't cut it back or whatnot. That portion is the most tender part of the tree. And so if we get cold temperatures, frost, or anything close to that, that's going to be the first place you see burn. It's going to be on that new growth. Any questions?
Thank you very much. That was very good.
I thought you were gonna keep talking. I'd like to compliment you
Yes.
on the beauty that you brought to Jacksonville. Thank you so very much. I
Yes.
love your style. I love your style. It's
you.
tremendous, and your choice of plants are just magnificent.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
It's a work in
And
progress.
17 underneath the bypass is just a work of art there. I really appreciate your work. I look at it every time. Everything new I see. And I do appreciate it, and I'm sure the citizens of Jacksonville really appreciate it.
Well, thank
Thank you very,
We
very
have
much.
we have a bunch of good employees too that,
Yes, you
you know, I
do.
cannot do it by myself,
You
you
sure
know.
do have some good
And,
ones.
and we, you know, it's a
You're a
tremendous
pretty good
amount.
boss too, occasionally.
A good boss, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you do an excellent job. Excellent.
All right. Thank y'all
Thank
for the
you.
presentations and everything. We really appreciate it. Now we have the subcommittee matters. So the first one is the planning subcommittee, which I believe this is the handout here, but Linda,
Okay.
update us, please.
The planning subcommittee, we met July 24th on a conference call. During the meeting, we discussed the following items. Our fall and spring cleanups, we are going to coordinate with Terry Terrell and schedule a date. Our fall sanitation breakfast, we are also going to coordinate that with Terry and schedule a date. We promoted Adopt a Program at G10 and social media. One City campaign, we discussed the purpose of the campaign and ideas such as hosting a community-wide cleanup on a National Day of Service. We researched National Cleanup, and this is an event sponsored by Nickelodeon and is targeted for children. We send brochures on memorials to Betty, and she will distribute it to local funeral homes. Staff reported that the Chamber of Commerce has adopted a new Bridge Street and will hold their first cleanup on September 27th. We coordinate with media teams and schedule promotions of the items listed below in 2018. In May, Willie Saunders will do fertilizing lawn care. In June, we need a committee member for fluorescent lights, and we'll discuss that in our next meeting. And in July, Linda Smith will do automotive oils. Any questions?
And I do have one correction. I apologize. Miss Grace was not at the meeting, but I believe you had volunteered to do the fluorescent lights.
Oh, okay.
We'll add you back there.
Sure.
Volunteered or voluntold?
I'll be getting with Alan.
All right. Thank you, Linda. Patrick, would you like to update us on the recognition subcommittee?
We're not getting nominations, so I'm suggesting we change this nomination thing to where we take our advisory board members there, and we all live in different parts of the city, and we take our part of the city we live in, and we're responsible to make nominations in our area to the full committee such as I live in the city area here, so I'll make nominations for the city area, and whoever lives in the different parts of the city will make nominations for their area, and we'll have to do it that way because we're not getting nominations from the citizens and the call-ins and the website. So we're going to have to take it upon ourselves to live in different parts of the city and do this because it's just not working.
So what's the next, what should we all be looking, what do you want us to?
Well, people that, for example, live in, like where I live at, I'll make a nomination for residential and for commercial, and wherever you live at, residential, commercial, and everybody will make, and then
Okay,
we'll
so
bring
we're
it
just
to the
still going
full.
off like the yards and landscaping and
Right, I
tackling
mean-
it that way? Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this because if we don't, this program's gonna fall on its face.
Does the city have a Facebook?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my
Can't you put advertising on
We
that?
It's everywhere. It's on G10, it's
It's
everywhere.
on there and they're just not
Just
participating.
not participating. So, this is one way, maybe if we do this, it'll pick up and they'll see it and they'll call in and maybe it'll jar somebody to.
And let me show you some of the pictures. Patrick was traveling to see his grandchild when this took place in June. But we did present the award to Lynn Smith, and she gave great credit to her mother for doing all the work as it was there. And she brought her daughter, I hope, as inspiration for the next generation as such there. But, we went back when it's at its peak and really tried to show what this place looked like. If you hadn't noticed, we put an A-frame out in front of the business. It's not like it gets 70,000 cars in front of it, but there are some that pass in front of that area. And so we were trying to do something to call attention to that is. Now, again, on nominations, one, you can call Michaela, you can call any of us on the phone, give us an address, give us something there, and we'll try to help as it was, just by dialing the main city hall number. You can also go online. We've got it online. You just go into, Jacksonville.gov, and if you put the /star awards after it, it'll bring you right straight to this page. But if you do a search up there in the search box for Star Award, you'll get that too. And so you can nominate them for everything. Of course, during the appropriate season, we add that bullet in there about holiday season, but we don't want to take any holiday season ones right now, so as it was. Although,
But I got the idea the other day watching I think it was the parks, and they do their members, take care of their parks, and they talk about their parks, even if the person takes care of their area. And I thought, well, that's a great idea for us to do it, as far as getting our nominations in and getting it started. Maybe the citizens will see this, and it might generate them to pick up and nominate, so. Because each time we're getting a pin, we're always saying there's no nomination, so.
Right.
So everybody get it in by before, by the
Oh, yeah,
next
when you
meeting,
want it,
a week
just before-
before, no later than that, so that Glenn can get somebody out there to take
yeah,
pictures.
give us enough time that you could get it so we can go get the pictures.
Right.
Now, if you snap a few, that's great too,
Yeah, Glenn, I was gonna ask, with this, with Halloween and stuff coming up.
Now, that'll be a separate
Gonna be
program.
a separate program, okay.
All right, so our next meeting is going to be October 5th, so we need to have it.
Certainly by September the 15th, 16th, that would be really great, to give us enough time to get out, get the pictures, if you've given us an address or something.
And I got one for you to start with, Biagio's for first. I'm nominating that one. It's in my district. I go by it, and I'm just impressed because I know what Court Street looked like, and I know he's put a lot into that, and it's impressive.
Yes.
He's turned that around. He's got two buildings that, what they used to look like and what they look like now that's a big improvement.
Okay, so is everybody good? We all can help participate with that? Okay, great, thank y'all. All right, the next item is the tree board.
And what we thought we'd do for you is, we're
Thanks.
also not getting the honors and memorials that we were getting. And the reason why we haven't printed the forms is because we found some changes we need to make. And so Jason has pointed out a little few things there in preparation for what we want to do tonight. We want to go over the program with you, and we want you all to help us again evangelize, spread the word about this matter. We've had none since the last Arbor Day. Nothing, zero, zilch. So what we want to talk about is what the basics is. And of course, it's just, the program as you wanted it to be. You wanted it to both honor and to memorialize, that you just didn't have to be the memorial. And we've had some that have done it in honor of graduations or weddings. We've had some people for lives well lived that just, wanted to give an honor of some people as it was. And of course, we can do both trees and, of course, new to the program. And again, Jason and Mike helped to put this, into place there, these seasonal plantings. And that's why they're staying behind, because they can answer the more technical questions on that. For trees, we did change the program. In the past, if you recall, for as little as $50, you could get a tree. That was not paying for what it cost to plant a decent-sized tree and to maintain it and do the things that had been promised along in the past with that as it was. So obviously, you can still do a $50 donation, but we're going to aggregate that money with others to get a tree that's of significant size that we can put together. And we'll talk a moment about the registry for that. If you fund $100, that will fund a tree, but you don't get to pick the location. That's not going to be the deal there. Jason and his people will pick where this tree is going to be, and they'll serve the best need that they can. But if you pay $200, you can pick a specific tree at a specific location. And we have some specimen trees that are out to be done for different locations. And we've prepared a list that's part of that document that we just mentioned that's out there that talks about these trees and where it's appropriate to put them. For instance, crepe myrtles at ball fields as it is. Some of the other ones up there will be at Sturgeon City where a variety of trees are to be put on display there. And the Sturgeon City Park really has come along, those that haven't been down there in a while, with the trees that are there, and they're maturing nicely as it is. And these are some places where he still has some opportunity to plant trees, and it's just beautiful as it was. There's still opportunities at Wooten Park to plant specimen trees and do things there. And the Richard Way All-America City Park, and of course at ball fields, this is where you know that the Tuscarora crepe myrtle is really prevalent there, and they've done a great job of doing that it's a great tree to be at a ball field. I mean, Michael, y'all really, it works well in there, and of course they're looking spectacular right now as it was too. The tree registry, it's currently a database, and the city will have a new website this time next year. So we didn't want to invest a lot of energy in putting this into the current system, so we can do this with the new one that we're getting as it is. So we will have it all online by this time next year for us as it was, barring unforeseen circumstances. Some of the staff are be going crazy here on us because it's a lot of work. And then seasonal plantings. This can be done at parks, at the senior building, train depot, the gateways, the medians, and even here at City Hall, and of course those recreation centers. Now just imagine that we just had a thing, this planting in honor of Sunshine Williams. You know, that could be done. You all can do this, you know. I mean, that's what's available here, and that beautiful scene. I mean, we all know Riverwalk Crossing Park is a thing of beauty. I mean, it's just wonderful down there. And so just for the mere $500, you could do one pod, just one pod. If you want to do the whole park, $2,500. But I mean, think about a business opportunity or someone that wanted to register. How about a high school class reunion that wanted to do something and show something that was, hey, we did this, we improved our community, it's right there on something. I mean, that's a real thing. You know, one of the sponsors, as you know, of National Night Out was First Baptist Church, and they took on the children's area. Boy, did they make that was spectacular, what they did. But I mean, the impact and the mission that they set forth, and certainly the example they set by. For the Freedom Fountain, now what a thing of beauty this is too. All the beds you could get for $1,000, and he does this 3 times a year. He plants that, so you could take one of your favorite seasons and certainly do this and make this happen as it was there. And then Chaney Avenue, we all agree that pit for Betty Scheffelbein's cigarette butts that she hates so bad. You know, I mean, remember how bad that was. Now, there's still a few cigarette butts there, but it's certainly not like it ever used to be in the past. And you could help plant that. There's 3 seasons available there to help out as it was. Here at City Hall, we've got some sites that certainly can be beautified for a seasonal presentation there, and the gateway signs. Now think about this. You know, we have 3 gateways out there. So for $500, you could plant a season for the gateway. Now, you know, that's a really great way, you know, to put Georgetown Alumni Association up there or something like that comes in and says, you know, as you're coming into town, you know. I mean, you know, in honor of Georgetown, I mean, that would be a great way there as it was too. And then the train depot, I mean, that's looking a lot better than it ever looked before out there as it was. And the senior center, that's a well taken care of place. And then obviously at Sturgeon City in the compound, and then at the individual recreation centers. We do have the booklet, but we're going to make some changes, and Jason and Michael will approve it before we hit the print button, and then we'll give you folks to take around and do so. But again, and I appreciate your willingness to take them to Jones and some of the other places there, but we want to push out the word. This can be done in honor of people and doing something like that. Now, Jason and Michael, can you add anything to that? Is there anything you'd like to say about this, or encouragement?
Well, we would just love to see the community get some ownership in this. And, you know, one of the things that we find special as we're doing landscaping out in the city is you'd be surprised how many people at stoplights, stop and talk to us and thank us for the jobs we're doing. When we're doing our edging programs, how many of the local business people actually come out and bring us drinks and things like that. When we don't have, they don't have to do that. We're not asking for them. But so I do think there is a clientele out there for this. We all have to do a little bit better job maybe of marketing it. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but I think there's people out there that will do this. We just got to get the information in those people's hands.
We're going to make a full tilt pitch on this too for social media and some other places that we have. But this was a good example, but we need y'all to go and proselytize and help us out a little bit in this thing. You need to be our evangelist and carry the message about recognizing people who have done a good job in the Star Awards. And then let's talk about these honors and memorials. We're not asking for it for the city to have money because we're going to be doing this. But wouldn't it be nice to have that tree fund out there, that there's things that they know they can go into and say, we can plant a few more trees this year than what the council, which is graciously given money to this type of project, can do even more of, And again, wouldn't you love to see some groups get some recognition, to show they support the Clean and Green program and something like that? So, Madam Chairman, that's what we have in there for the tree board's part of the presentation. I will say, if you recall, that one of the reasons we're having Jason present to you regularly is part of the Tree City program, in which we're going to go after a new award. And so we've got to do some educational pieces, and where better to do them than right here. We're going to get the new award, Chairman says. So we're going to make that happen. And that's what we have for you.
Thanks. All right, now we're to the committee matters, so
No, we need the one city matter.
that's underneath it.
Oh, forgive me. Sorry.
So the one city matter is
Okay.
the first item under the committee matter.
And I'm going to call on Lily Gray. She's spearheading this project as it is, and we've left some droppings at your place here for you.
Good evening, everyone. Some of you may have already heard about our One City campaign. For those of you who have not, we are really excited about what's ahead for the upcoming year. We have launched the campaign, which is One City, My City, Our City, My City. I should know this by heart. But really, it's just a year-long campaign to promote respect, caring, collaboration, civility. Just a year to treat others as you would want to be treated. And we have some material on your desk. We distributed these on Tuesday night, National Night Out. It was a great hit. If you did not stop by the booth, it was nonstop. We had citizens sign our pledge boards. We have 5 pledge boards that are full of signatures that we're real proud of, that shows their commitment to this mission. And what you have is a great word cloud. Is that the right word?
Yes.
A word cloud, which gives examples of just what it means to be one city, which is really building upon our caring community motto, which we've had, that for several years, probably about 20 years or so.
Since 1991.
91, long time. Let's go, long time. And what this is just reminding us of what it means to be a caring community, and that we're one city, and it's our vision that we would be a unified and caring Jacksonville. So just take an opportunity in your personal lives, whether you're part of an organization, your churches, wherever you are, individually or collectively, to think about how you can help us be a more caring community, to be one city in doing some of the activities. This should not cost you anything. It could be a simple smile, holding the door open for someone, just acknowledging someone's presence. Sometimes we get so busy we don't even see the person walking by us as we're texting. Just look up and say hi. So just simple things, not all event focused, but we will be present at various events when that is appropriate. And we just encourage you to embrace it. As you see on your agenda, we're asking all of our advisory committees to take a moment during your meeting to bring up or present a moment, something you've seen or observed, or something that you're undertaking yourself, just to share it with your committee and with our viewing audience. And we do have a website. You can find more information. You can download this stuff. You can print copies for you, get it back to your groups. What you do have, we're real excited about the decals. You can place these in your windows, in your vehicles. If anyone would like these, I have them in my office. I think you have the last of the glow-in-the-dark wristbands. We gave out about 2,000 of those at National Night Out, and the fans came in handy for the warm weather the other night, very popular. So we thank you. And I will say that this is an initiative that is being led as I support it, but it's really being led by Mayor Phillips and a number, about 15 faith leaders, pastors in the community have come together. And this concept was born out of those discussions with our mayor. So we want to give them credit for working together to help us come together.
I want to give some street cred to Betty and Fernando were there for the kickoff as it was there. They got to witness that as it was there. And what we're asking you to do is collect that story about some kindness that perhaps was demonstrated to you, or something that you paid forward to others that maybe in the next 60 days when we meet again, that you would tell a little bit about that or see it and encourage others to do those things. Again, it's the golden rule just in life, really, at the end of the day. So, Madam Chair, that's what we have for you there.
Okay. Do you have any?
I have no other staff items out there at this time.
All right. Now we're to the Plan and Advisory Board. We did not meet last month, so, we did not meet in July. We did in June. So here's a few updates from that. There's an O'Reilly Auto Parts that's going to be constructed at 2869 Richlands Highway. They're actually going to tear down around a 4,200 square foot building, and then their new building will be a little bit over 7,600 square feet. We're going to get another Starbucks. It's going to be at 2805 Richlands Highway. So that'll be a slightly over 6,300 square foot building will be constructed there. And they'll have a drive-through, and then there'll also be 2 additional tenant spaces available in that building. The O'Reilly Parts right down the street from you, Sunshine. They are adding on 2,500 square feet to their existing 8,500 square foot building. Over like Shilsky Office Park, it's called Covert Operations. That's the LLC. The address is 430 Dolphin Lane. They're going to construct. They've put in for permitting and planning to construct a new building around 6,900 square feet. And then you have Wingate Park Apartments. They're going to construct right at 29, close to 29,000 square foot building with 56 units. So that's what we've got going on. And then there has been approval for, it's over there on Country Club, where like the biotest, is that what you call it? Biotest, the plasma. Right there next to that is a doctor's office building. And he is constructing another building there on that site. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's actually going to construct it behind the existing one. So anyway, that's what's going on. So other than that, there's been a lot of, people wanting to get some properties rezoned and that sort of thing. But these were the main items of what's headed our way. So, all right. Does anybody have any other comments or anything they would like to share with the group?
I'd like to ask, how's the Baby Ruth Memorial trees coming along?
We'll let the people who go and deal with those every
I was just
day.
there today. They're doing good. We got this little bit of dry spell right now, but they're doing fine. We've replaced 2, I think, since we started, and we're still holding at that number. I've not seen any fatalities since that. So, yeah, and we haven't lost a single rose bush out there. So we're still doing good.
That's a shocker.
I'm not going to.
What became of the signs that were going to go up out?
They're still in development. The council has asked for some more review, and then they'll go from there.
Okay, thanks.
What's the projected timeline for the fencing around the cemetery and all that to be done?
I do not know the answer to that, but I know that it's a small shop that's making the fencing. And so they can only do but so much each time. And I think that we're pretty close to the end of the fencing. Obviously, as you've seen, the signs and things have been, put in there as it was. And I think that now we're just buttoning it down. Do you know anything more on that?
No, but I was noticing it myself today. Look, I think the black fence is done, the portion along
Y'all know anything more?
Harder Street, but not the Lejeune portion. It's not finished yet.
The clerk's office is running this one, to be candid with you, and so it
looks good.
You
Definitely
remember it
looks
was
a lot
the Kovich estate that paid for all of that.
I had a question about the amphitheater. When's that going to be done?
The reality is, we hope it's done before the end of this calendar year. But It could be done before that. Because we're not sure, though, we're not gonna have the event planned until the spring of next year, so we're confident by the spring of next year, that's what we're working towards. Now, I will tell you, they're not far from being done. The work from the electrical side and some of those things which are being contracted out, I think has started a little bit already. You've seen the walls are up, the amphitheater itself has been formed. We're also adding some stairs, walkway stairs that the park staff has done on the common Gateway South. You'll see some other that are going to come in within the next 2 to 3 weeks that are going to be behind the playground. So there will be 2 different access points there. But being selfish on one hand, I would tell you in about 2 months it's going to be done. But the reality is we're not going to have anything scheduled out there because we don't want to schedule something and then cancel it. So we're gearing towards the spring.
And how about that park and ride thing that they did in the Commons?
Park and
They
ride.
knocked them down and they're just up there.
The park and ride, if you haven't, if you've not seen it, when you come up Gateway South to the stop sign and on your way to enter into the Commons Recreation Facility, on the right-hand side there, you'll see a cleared out area. And this is on, for those of you watching that aren't sure of the roads, I said this is on your way if you were going to go to Northside from the entrances off of Western. Though that parking lot is scheduled to be finished before our Jamboree, which is held in the beginning of May. So that should be an active parking lot by mid-April, at least by mid-April. That's the plan, that's the timeline, and the understanding is the timeline is still within reason to be met.
Thank you.
Anything else I can
You
deflect?
got anything else for Michael? All right, well, that's pretty much going to be the close of the meeting. I just want you to make note that October 5th will be our next meeting, and our topic's going to be stormwater. So, does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
We adjourn.
We have a second. All right, we are adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you all for coming.